So I forget where we got this link last time, to be honest.
I can get I'll get it from the YouTube. I'll pull
Oh,
it.
yeah. That might have been how we did it.
There it is. Share, copy link. All right. There we go. People coming in. Good.
We got
Yeah, the
odd
Tigers.
human.
There you go.
Tigers aren't on right now, are they?
They just won, dude.
Ridiculous that they do this during the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
What an unserious organization.
They won 6-3, I think.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I was too busy to even follow it, let alone watch it.
Yeah, ALDS,
deeply unserious to be doing this during the week. Like, why can't it be later in the day when people are off of work? What's the justification?
I have no idea. Like, only reason I know is because I kind of have a deeply unserious day job, and I had some flexibility.
I also have a deeply unserious day job. I yesterday I was able to watch a little bit, but today I was too busy. But yeah, oh, here we go. We got some people joining in. Yeah, very good. You want to kick her off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let us pod. All right, welcome to Out of the Blue from the Block M Podcast Network, part of the Fan First Sports Network. This podcast is dark and full of terrors. I am Jared Stormer of the Block M Podcast Network and MaizenBrew.com. With me, as always, is Andy Bailey, my hetero life mate of the same place and time. Andy of House Bailey, the first of his name, King of the Andals, the Roynar and the First Men, Protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the Unburnt, King of Marine, Cal of the Great Grass Sea, Breaker of Chains, Father of Dragons. Your full title, of course.
It's well done. I'm great, man. Connor Stallions tried to dunk on me during the week, so that was a first.
Wait, what? Explain yourself.
I thought you'd love this. So my article came out on MaizenBrew.com, tremendous website, breaking down some film study stuff. And it was about like how the tweet or the X post, whatever the hell, said, Chip Lindsey's zone running implemented into the scheme without losing identity. And he responded to that and was like, Maizen Brew, it's like, oh, they've been running zone for this much time. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, well, Connor, if you read the article, I'm not talking about inside zone. I'm talking about outside zone. So you got to click into it, go to the link. It's going to load in a separate window. And then you read the article. And what you're saying is what I'm saying. And then I responded back to him and he didn't respond back. But yeah, so my first Connor Stallions reaction, I would say mixed bag, but we keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He doesn't have a job right now. He can click in and read the article.
He's got time. It's a delightful read.
He's got the
time. Like, just read it. Yeah, come on.
If you really do want to know ball, your work over on MaizenBrew.com. What a tremendous website. Great stuff. I would highly recommend if you really want to dive deep and know what's going on, particularly on the offense. I feel like you've really, you've done the work. And
we all have a preference, offense or defense. I'm definitely more of an offensive guy.
Yeah. I'm a defensive guy. I like to, it just feels more honorable to be on the defense. Like, you came at me.
Well, I'm a scumbag, so I'm an offense.
Known scallywag, Andy Bailey. Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. I didn't know about that. That's freaking interesting. That's freaking interesting, dude. Shall we touch the banner?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into this here. 4-star shooting guard Joseph Hartman commits to Michigan. Won't be on the all-name team, Joe Hartman, but a 6'5", 190-pounder 4-star from Gainesville. I do like this type of player, and I like the type of player that Dusty May is recruiting. It's very NBA-ish in the sense that this guy could play anywhere from 1 to 4 at 6'5". Like, you are just kind of a versatile, switchable wing, but probably will play the 2. Haven't got a chance to watch his tape yet. We'll be interested to see what Kellen thinks about this guy, but starting to build a team out now. We're moving up in the rankings now, and pretty interested to see what pieces they want to finalize this, but it's an interesting looking class.
Next Michigan team to win a national championship: basketball, women's basketball, football, or hockey?
Football 2027.
Okay. It's like,
Yeah.
so you don't think Dusty doesn't do it this year?
It's a really good team. There's some other really, really good teams this year. And that's just, I mean, that tournament is brutal. I think it's actually easier to win a football national championship right now because you just got to get into that top 12, and then once you're there, just get hot. And yeah, I would say so. Do you agree with me there? Hockey, you would have to speak to. I can't speak on that.
Hockey, again, it's so tough because the variance is so high, similar to basketball, where you get in these one game eliminations, and no sport has a higher variance game to game than hockey. I mean, they have the team to do it. I mean, they certainly have a lot of talent on this team. I believe they have over 10 NHL draft picks on this current team, and they have a lot of depth, and they have a good goalie, and they drop puck on Friday tomorrow. So good
Joyous
transition by
news.
us there. I know, play Mercyhurst for a 2-game set, so we get our first look at this new team. 14, I think, new players on this team, 13 returners, vice versa, one way or the other. So really excited to check out what we got going on the ice.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to everyone in the chat. How about them Tigers? Love to see it. Gritty Tigs got Tyrion, our guy. Shout out to all you. Appreciate you joining us live. Some more basketball updates. Trey McKinney down 18 pounds. I don't know if that does anything for you. LJ Kaysen, highest muscle mass and best conditioning shape he's been in. That does do something for me. I'm intrigued by this. Big Kaysen guy. Where do you stand on Kaysen this year? I'm in.
I'm super excited for what he could
Yeah.
be. And all of these come straight from Kellen, who was at the facilities this past week talking with the strength and conditioning coach. So boots on the ground. Shout out to Kellen Voss. He'll be on the pod soon, getting all this information. And I'm super high on Kaysen. I like what he can do. I am a little bit nervous with Trey McKinney maybe usurping him at the position, though.
It very well could happen. I'm in on Kaysen for this year, though, and then I think it's a McKinney following year, provided that he doesn't want to jump ship.
Kellen said at practice the other day that McKinney looked like the best player on the team.
Oh, good God, sir. All right, you're getting me excited for basketball season, which that's kind of my just natural state of being. Just
I was going to say, that's just you.
Excited for that's just how I live. Elliot Cadeau has added 7 pounds of muscle. Not the biggest Cadeau guy, but I didn't watch him as closely as I watched Kaysen, so we'll see there. I know you did. You and Liv certainly did, so you have your opinions, and I trust your guys' basketball
He has 2 functioning eyes now, so that's a benefit.
It'll help. I'll tell you what. I don't prefer Cyclops on my team, but that being said, one eye's better than none. I don't know. I'm trying to sugarcoat this. Yaxel Lendenborg up 8 pounds. Very real chance for. What do you think the odds are? What would you give the odds of Yaxel Lendenborg winning the Wooden? I think it's possible. There's a couple guys like I would put ahead of him, but I think he'll be
Smith,
right there.
is that the guard
Braden
from
Smith's probably
Purdue
the
comes to mind
favorite.
immediately. I'm sure there's a freshman that's going to come.
LeBaron Philon from Bama, probably going to have a big year. I could see that. But I think he's like top 5, I would say. I don't think you could name 5 guys ahead of him.
No, I think he has to. Yeah, I think that's favorite. Yeah, he's got to be in the top 5 for consideration.
Yeah, come on the pod, Axel. Namari Burnett, Will Shedder, leanest they've ever been. Will Shedder, just a brick shithouse of a guy.
Dude, he is huge. I told you when I saw them live last year against Wake Forest, and then you saw him in the NCAA tournament. I was like, just look how big Cheddar is. Like, you can't appreciate it until you see him in person. His like shoulders are just out to here at all times, but like he's still like very nimble and athletic. I think all of this, what the weight loss, weight gain, everything tells me is this team is going to run like hell and defend at an insanely high level this year. I think that's 2 things I can say for certain.
This is going to be an all-time fun basketball team to watch. Like, really, really excited to watch this team. I think they'll be both good and exciting to watch. Let's keep it pushing on to football here. Unfortunate for the podcast and for fans of Popeye's Chicken everywhere. Fred Moore, wide receiver junior, no longer with the team, recently on this podcast. In fact, I think that's what made him jump ship. He's like, you know what? I've had enough.
Well, I tried to call him, but the call dropped. Having that one in the back pocket for a while. We're still trying to get full confirmation if more 12 works on a discount code. It wasn't working on DoorDash for Kellen, but still trying to get those Popeyes points. It would be really funny if it still did work and you could win the free tailgate or whatever to a Michigan. I wonder if he has to make an appearance contractually.
I don't know how it works, but since he's out of the transfer window, he's just not going to play this year. just not going to
Yeah,
be anywhere.
he and CJ Hester, man, just hanging out. Not on the
Hanging
team,
out.
just going to Econ 201, I guess.
Just hanging out, playing Nintendo. I mean, there's worse things he can do. But yeah, we kind of saw this coming, man. He's been surpassed by not one but two freshmen in Marsh and Goodwin. So wish him the best. Hope he lands somewhere great. He was a nice guy. Like
He
enjoyed
was a nice
chatting with
guy.
him. So appreciate his time and wish him the best. Hope we can go somewhere where he can get onto the field. And last bid here this Saturday, we will be there. I had someone reach out via Facebook. I'm sorry I did not get back to you yet. Been a super busy day. You asked where we will be tailgating. I can almost promise you it'll be Pioneer High School. That's generally where we go. I'm a fan of the golf course, but I feel like that's for a larger group, in my opinion. Like that's
Yeah.
where you go when you've got like two carfuls, you got your tent, you want to get there 7, 8 a.m., post up for the day. I think if you're just kind of like we do, play a game of cornhole, shoot the shit for a little bit, a lot of glad handed moving and shaking, I feel it's appropriate to be at the high school.
Yeah, we'll be at the high school, probably make our way to Blue by 90 for a little bit as
Yeah,
well. I believe
that'd be
our
where you find us.
editor in
Yeah.
chief, Lord Commander Von Lozon will be there too. So we're going to say hi to him, which is always a great time. And yeah, meet as many people as we can in person and just hang out and talk ball, man. Like really looking forward to it. It's our first game this year. We didn't get up to one last year, so it's been a while now for us. I think the last one we were at was 23 Ohio State. So this is a
Yes,
good
it
one.
was. And that didn't suck, let me tell you. So every time we go, we have a great time. Have you and I been in attendance for a loss?
At a game, no. In Ann Arbor, yes.
In Ann
So we
Arbor,
were
yes.
in Ann Arbor for the 2019 Michigan Ohio State
Correct.
game, which did not go well, and just slowly escalated everywhere. That was not great. But no, together we went to 2018 Nebraska, and then outside in that one, 2021 Northern Illinois. We didn't go to 1 and 22 together, and then 23 Ohio State. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. Really looking forward to it, man. I had a couple people. I'm checking our inbox right now. Apologize, crazy week. One of my best friends, the other one being on this podcast, got married. So I've been running around. I'm in Ohio now, getting ready for the weekend. So apologize, I didn't get to all these messages, but a lot of people asking where we'll be. And I would say hit us up on Twitter. We'll check our Twitter if like you want to get in touch with us that day. DM us on Twitter. Probably the best way to get in touch with both of us, I would say. So if you
Yeah.
want to
It's
meet
gonna
up,
it
I would say,
loads
or
the fastest,
Instagram.
especially in all that congestion and stuff. Really easy to check out there. We both have it.
Yes. And additionally, thank you again to Jason and Randy Sklar. Drop by. And I believe we mentioned every single player on this roster except for Travis Moten and Benny Patterson. And Randy followed up to be like, my God, we missed him. And I was like, I think that people will forgive us. We went through 75 players on this roster and commits and everything. What a joy, though. Love chatting with those guys. They will be performing in Ann Arbor Saturday night, and we are giving away 2 free tickets. That is right. First person to reach out via email at ootbsports23@gmail.com and lay claim, you're coming with us. That's just how it is. My family, one of my family will be able to make it. The other one cannot. So we got tickets, and we want no empty seats. Really looking forward to this show, chopping it up with those guys. So whoever reaches out, you get them, and we'll figure out how to transfer those tickets, but we'll make it happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time, man. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good day and noon kick as the Lord intended. We're gonna break down that game in its entirety, and then afterwards, grab a little dinner, little comedy show. It's a great little Saturday.
Troubles are over, dude. Looking forward to it, man. Before we get into pre Wisconsin, which will be the bulk of the show, bulk of the series, we have a little gimmick, a little warm up gimmick we've been wanting to do the last couple of weeks. We're doing the bad hang sports draft. It'd be very easy to do the good hang. Who would you want to hang out with? Tom Brady, Charles Woodson. What is the absolute worst time you can have with sports media personalities, former athletes, current athletes? Really no rules. They just got to be sports adjacent. The absolute nightmare blunt rotation that you can put together of any sports personalities. We're each going to take 3. No real criteria here other than they need to be alive. Other than that, because I mean, like, we won't shade the dead too much, but I'm
True.
sure OJ Simpson probably would have gotten drafted should he
He
had he
he
have
was
been
on my
with us.
short list.
He's on the short list, all right. He's a pretty high draft pick, but he's warming up the seats in hell currently. Let's go ahead and get to this, sir. You want first pick?
Yes, I do. And it's
Take it.
slam dunk, no brainer for the bad the bad hang sports draft. I want the WNBA commissioner.
Prescient. I love it.
Just does not seem like a good time. Doesn't likes to devalue a product, not pay people, and just kind of, not be a very nice person. It's best I can say in a PG friendly manner. So it has to be the top pick here. Flew up the boards the last week.
Really, this week, yeah. It's like a riser late in the draft process.
Yeah.
You're just like, whoa, Christian Darrisaw's going in the top 10. Like, what the hell happened here? Yeah, that's the commissioner. I'm gonna take with my first pick, Paul Feinbaum. Gross to look at, gross to listen to. Never had a good opinion I agreed with or liked, but will argue his incorrect stance to the death. Don't like him. I think if I was around him, it would be very difficult for me to not reach across the table and slap him, which I might do.
Do you see he might be leaving his job to become a politician?
It tracks. I don't.
It makes sense. I mean, the breadcrumbs
yeah.
are there. Like, let's not act like we're surprised or anything here.
Yeah, he's just like, I can go be a worse person if I'm in politics.
For my second pick, a little off the board here. I found some value late. I had to move him up because I didn't want to miss out on him. Went Pat Bev. Just because, like, I feel like we'd be hanging out at an Applebee's and I feel like we'd go to the bathroom and he'd like talk trash at the urinal. Just be like, that's how you be pissing. That's how you be. And it's like, I can't handle that in public. Like, I can't do that. Kills the vibes.
That's how you be pissing. That's the name of his autobiography, Pat Bev. That's how you be pissing. The Pat Bev story.
Co-author that with him.
I'm taking Brett Favre. Can't believe he's still around in this draft. Tremendous value for me in the second round. The reverse Robin Hood robs from the poor and gives to Brett Favre. Terrible hang.
Who's Friar Tuck in this scenario? Antonio Freeman?
Didn't he play with Shannon Sharp? That guy's also on the bad hang draft.
It might have, yeah, not ideal, especially if he goes live on Instagram. For my last pick, I have to go somebody, across the border here. I'm going Jack Sawyer.
Yeah, I thought about it on my list.
I don't know. Tate Martell came in the chat. That's a great one. Jack Sawyer, for obvious reasons. I mean, he's just like, I don't know if it's a compliment or an insult that he's being drafted here, but just such a hateable Buckeye in every sense of the word. The Mason Graham interaction after the flag planting incident, I just want played on repeat at my funeral. But yeah, had to get a Buckeye on here.
There's plenty to choose from. My long list has like 11 of them. While you're on the topic, I wanted to put Urban Meyer because horrible person. I really feel like we could talk ball though. That's the thing. I despise him, but you could probably have a pretty good chat about.
But if you're in public at a bar and there are women around, I worry about him just being an absolute liability.
100%. Like, we're all going to prison.
He's going to get that thumb out, and I'm going to be like, Urban.
Hey,
we're going to talk about this. We talked about this.
We talked about this, Urban.
Let's get back to the 3-4.
Jeez. Anyway, let's talk outside zone. Come on. Pull it back in. Reel it back. Reel it back. Oh, man. Would Bill Belichick be a bad hang? I mean, I feel like there was a time when I would enjoy it, but now with the amount of nonsense, I don't know.
Well, now it wouldn't be the same because it's like his girlfriend has his hand or fiance has his hand up his ass, working him like an animatronic puppet. Like 3 years ago, he'd be great. I feel like he'd be the best hang in the world, just talking ball. He's like really into the Civil War and American history. I feel like we could have some good conversations about Jeb Stuart. So go a bunch of different places, but now I still think it's the same.
Oh, man. All right. To follow suit, you got to have a Buckeye here. Give me either of the Bosa brothers. Flip a coin. I don't care. Can I get them both?
That's a deal there. I feel like you could trade up and get them.
Package deal. Yeah.
Kicking. I have a Ryan Day comment in a second. You ready for my honorable mention? I'm going to run through these really fast.
Run through a couple names.
Scott Frost, Conor McGregor, Ryan Clark, but that's the non-athlete in me. Danny Cannell, Jimmy Chitwood from Hoosiers, just being an ass shooting down at the other end of the court. John Morant, I could give you 9 or 45 reasons. Joey Velasquez, Joey Doublecross, Spike from Little Giants, Cade McNamara,
It's a
Karl
fictitious
Malone, I can
character.
give you 13 reasons.
Air Bud?
Post prime Gary Danielson, uh, David Tepper, Ryan Day during Michigan week, James Franklin during any week, Eddie Martell from the replacements, Mel Tucker, Drake, whoever greenlit the rollerball remake, Jordan Poole when IG models are courtside, the racist fullback Ray from Remember the Titans,
I
Pete
had him
Thamel.
on the long list. He's a real person.
He had to
What?
be at the bottom. Just blew the block for Rev. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
How did Drake make it on there? That's not an athlete. He's not even
he's an
sports
ambassador
adjacent.
for the Toronto Raptors.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sports adjacent. I'll allow it there. I also had Brian Kelly on my short
That's
list. I'm surprised
tremendous.
he didn't get mentioned. Just a horrible hang. You're not having a good
Yeah,
time with Brian Kelly, and he's not having a good time. Skip Bayless, obviously had Jack Sawyer on there. Stephen A. Smith, Dylan Rayola. Surprised he didn't get mentioned there. That would be another
that's
one
good.
that we would
Yeah.
despise. Yeah. I love your list though. No notes. The bad hang sports draft. Very happy we got to do this.
If there's
Oh
anybody
man,
else you guys can think of, please fire off in the chat who
hit
you
us
at
up.
least want to
Hit,
hang out with.
yeah, the absolute nightmare blunt rotation. I think we've got a pretty good short list there. All right, brother. Let's talk Wisconsin. This Saturday, noon kickoff. It is the annual maze out. Make sure you wear your maze if you'll be in attendance. You know I got that on deck. Got the Sainris still tucked,
I have to buy
ironed.
one.
Oh,
I don't have a
why
Maze
not?
shirt. I'm not
You
gonna buy a
don't
new
have a
one.
maze shirt? That's impossible. That's
I have
impossible. We've
one,
been
but
to
it's
maze
like,
outs before, haven't we?
well, normally I have like a Maze jacket, but it's gonna be 85 degrees.
Oh, it's gonna be 88 degrees. Good
Yeah,
heavens.
like
Yeah, I
so
didn't
like I'm
bring
just
any
gonna
shorts.
buy it. Yeah, oh God. Yeah, I'm just gonna buy a Maze shirt when I'm up there. Oh, heaven forbid.
Yeah, worst things you could do. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure they gave us a maze shirt at one of the ones we were at, one of the maze outs,
Probably.
but I've got a couple of those. But it will be a maze out. 2-2 Wisconsin, Michigan sitting at 3-1. Wisconsin is 15-15 in Luke Fickell's coaching tenure. That is honestly an impressive level of mid. They have lost 7 games, their last 7 games against Power 4 opponents. And as the Badgers were down 20-0 at halftime in their last game, Camp Randall was chanting "Fire Fickle." So that's where Wisconsin's at. You were just recently, what was it, yesterday, on a Wisconsin crossover podcast and got to talk to some of them. So what's the vibe with the Badgers?
The vibes are atrocious right now. I was on Locked On. It's Locked On Wisconsin. A great time over there. I think that drops tomorrow. And some fan questions came in, and they were centered around: do we score? Do you view us as Purdue? So dark times right now in Madison. So they're just, kind of looking for a way out of the Fickle business, but I don't know if it's coming.
It might be if Michigan beats them bad enough. It's a
It's true.
16.5 point spread. Maryland, who about to just absolutely fly over their over under and make me look like a fool, beat the brakes off of this team. And that's Maryland. And now you've got to go to the big house and play a Michigan team starting to get their steam, starting to understand who they are. And then the schedule does not let up. Like this, if they don't win this game, they might not win again this season. Like it is dark for Wisconsin right now. And I don't really find any joy in this because this isn't Ohio State. This isn't like a team that we just don't like Nebraska. Wisconsin, I've always had some semblance of respect for, but this is the lowest I've seen Wisconsin since I've been watching the Big Ten.
100%. I mean, it feels kind of like the Michigan 2020 season for them right now.
Yeah.
Like it's going nowhere fast. Or honestly, maybe the better comparison is the Rich Rod, like the end of that, because you had the OC come in there, try to implement a system that goes against grain, do everything your own way, and it just doesn't work. And now they're trying to save face with Jeff Grimes, their new offensive coordinator this year, and it's just not clicking. Like they've regressed in their strength areas, their weaknesses are even weaker. Like there's just not a lot of hope right now in Madison across the board. I mean, I will say the run defense is there, but we're going to kind of get into those numbers of being more of a paper tiger than anything.
Yeah, and when he took over for Paul Chryst in 2022, I absolutely lauded the hire. I was like, this is tremendous. I mean, he took freaking Cincinnati to the playoffs. It seemed
To
like
the
a home run
4-team playoff.
to the 4 team, not to the 12 team. I was like, yeah, this is the guy you go and get. And then immediately when he makes the move to go to the air raid, I forget, do you remember who he brought with him? It was like Rhett
Phil
Lashley
Longo.
or something?
Phil Longo
That's what it
from
was.
North Carolina. It was Drake May's, I believe
That's
his
right.
redshirt sophomore year. He came up. Yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as they did that, we're like, odd choice for a program that's produced Monte Ball, Jonathan Taylor, like just a litany of impressive linemen and running backs to completely move away from that. I'm like, all right, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for them. Here we are several years later. It has not worked out for them. They have no identity. And yeah, we'll talk about the defense, but like even that feels like a paper tiger. And if that's what they're resting on right now, it's not going to be enough with this upcoming schedule, which is just absolutely brutal. Let me give you their schedule right quick. So obviously Michigan on the road this week, and then it is Iowa, Ohio State. They got number 1 and number 2 back to back. Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, number 8 Indiana on the road, number 22 Illinois, and then end on the road at Minnesota, which might be their last hope to get a win. This is the nightmare season for sure. It's them and Clemson or just in Arkansas, and like all the other nightmare seasons are either fired their coach or retreating into the darkness now because things have gone so poorly, and Wisconsin is slowly retreating and fading out of relevance.
Is there any chance of a trap game here for Michigan to be upset?
I don't think so. I looked at it from a lot of different angles, and we'll kind of get into the specifics of why not. I just don't see how they attack our defense in any meaningful way. They couldn't attack the Maryland defense last week. So how are they going to possibly find a way to attack this Michigan defense at home on a maze out, well rested? Guys like Rod Moore and Derek Moore and Zeke Berry should be back. Like this is going to be maybe full strength Michigan defense, and they're hungry. And I think that they're about to walk into a buzzsaw. I really do.
Let's get into the Wisconsin offense then. So this team is scoring 21 points per game, but against Power 4 opponents, they are scoring 12 points per game. And they did not score in the first half against Alabama or Maryland. Just for a 30,000-foot view, the passing attack was supposed to be Billy Edwards, but it has been, was it Danny O'Neal who's taken over after Edwards got banged up in the first game, tried to play against Maryland, re-aggravated that knee. All signs are pointing to O'Neal again, who completes a shockingly high amount of passes, 70%,
70%.
but he is second in FBS with 5 picks. The only players he trails is DJ Lagway and Northwestern's Preston Stone. This will be the second worst passing attack Michigan's faced this year and the worst rushing attack Michigan has faced this year. Their offensive line is horrendous. They've allowed as many sacks this season as it did all last season. On average, against their 2 Power 4 opponents, they allowed 7 tackles for loss and 5 sacks per game. The latter is tied for the worst amongst Power 4 teams.
Egregious across the board. I don't know where to start.
There's
with
nothing
how bad
good there.
that is. Like, there's nothing good about any of it. Like, Billy Edwards was supposed to come in and be the savior who, at least for a moment, when he was at Maryland against Michigan, showed some stuff. And I was like, okay, I kind of like Billy Edwards. Let's see what he can do there. But it just, the fact that he's been injured, I don't think it would matter if he was healthy. Like, there's so much other stuff going on here that, I mean, you could have freaking Ty Simpson back there. You could have Dante Moore back there. It's irrelevant. There's just nothing going on, and it starts up front, the offensive line. This used to be offensive line U. There was just nothing you could trust more than the fact that Wisconsin was going to trot out a large and physical offensive line. There's nobody there. Like, there's nobody that'll worry you. Michigan should have no problem getting pressure, which everybody's gotten pressure against this Wisconsin team. And the quarterbacks are struggling, and the fact that what Danny O'Neal has thrown 5 picks is in part due to the fact that he doesn't have much time to throw the ball. 4 different players have thrown passes already in this young season, including Hunter Simmons, Billy Edwards, and now Danny O'Neal, who we'll probably see, who does have a fine mullet. I'll give him that. But aside from that, 13 sacks, 5 interceptions in limited time is crazy bad. I don't know what's worse, the 5 picks or the 13 sacks.
It doesn't make any sense either on the offensive line to me, because last year they were top 10 in sacks allowed and tackles for loss allowed, like the fewest. Like, they were excellent. And I know they were replacing both tackles and they've had some center injuries, but like the drop off has been drastic. I mean, slide the protection and throw hot. Like, it sounds so simple, I guess. You put it that way, just do something. But they're trying to run this grime scheme, which is very run heavy. And I think everything is kind of falling apart when they can't establish the run, like, because things are falling apart at the line of scrimmage. So when I was talking to the Wisconsin guys, they're really anticipating most teams to just crowd the line, play man-to-man on the outside, and just make life hell in the box.
Yeah.
Like a Central Michigan-esque strategy.
Right. It's going to be so easy for Wink Martindale. He's not even going to have to get creative in this one, I don't think, because
No.
there's such a vanilla offense that Wink Martindale's not even going to have to disguise things. I mean, he will because he's Wink Martindale, but he doesn't have to. Like, you could kind of just show up with the defense, and they're going to really struggle just personnel wise with who we're going to trot out there. You mentioned the running game. It just, I think this really illustrates how far they've fallen from the Jonathan Taylor, Monte Ball, like you name it. Like, they
Ron
were just
Dane.
Ron freaking Dane. Yeah.
Dane.
10 people have rushed the ball for them this year. They've had 10 different rushers combined. All 10 of them have less rushing yards than Justice Haynes. Combined, this team has run for 471 yards this year. That's 100 less than Justice Haynes. That's horrific.
You want to know a stat that doesn't make any sense, though, that kind of plays off of that? Wisconsin is 5th in the country and 3rd in FBS in time of possession.
What? How's that
Isn't
even
that weird?
happen?
It's they average 34 and a half minutes of possession each game. So like they're keeping the ball. What I think they're doing more or less is manipulating the clock of running it
Right.
down every play.
Like, we are so ass on offense. The less time our offense is out there.
That's actually a good coaching thing. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll try to shorten the game, run the play clock down, limit our time when we're on the field and put our defense back out. They're trying to keep the defense fresh as well and really muddy up the game.
It very well could be the case. Yeah, that is odd. But sometimes these early season statistics, like Nebraska still being the number 1 pass defense, Wisconsin still technically being the number 1 rush defense, it's a little bit of a house of cards. It's not exactly something that you can set your clock to. So on offense, man, I don't even really know like what to touch on. There's no playmakers here. Dylan Jones and Darian Dupree they've exactly even 35 carries a pop. Neither one has separated. They're both at around 4 yards per carry. 1 touchdown between the two of them. This rushing offense is one of the worst in the country. I just can't believe how far they've fallen on that side of the ball. So I don't know how how are they going to attack this defense? I think that's the single biggest thing. Like, how maybe our offense struggles a little bit with their defense. Their offense is going to have a nightmare with our defense.
I think the goal here should be, there should be several goals for the defense here, but it needs to be overarching big goals like a shutout. The defense scores more than the offense. Reserves play the entire second half. Or maybe even, I mean, none of the players were here, but several of the coaches were, a little bit revenge for the 2020 game. Like, I know Michigan beat him the next year, 2021 in Madison, but lest we forget, in 2020, during the pandemic, this team gave us the worst beating in 80 years at the Big House. I believe it was 49-11. So done a little something for that there. Maybe a bigger winning margin than was presented in that game.
Yeah, that'll be a tough sell when the freshmen were like prepubescent when that happened. Just be like, do you remember this? They're gonna be like, I do not.
We don't have to tell them that, but I bet Sharon Moore hasn't forgotten.
Sharon Moore certainly knows. Yeah, he was around.
And his first game back too.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have to worry about Michigan sleepwalking through this coming off of a bye. I think coming off of a bye will help with that. They're probably just eager to get back out there. There's a lot of guys that have missed some time. So Rod Moore, like, just getting back out there, you think Rod Moore is going to let this defense sleep against this, just, I mean, for lack of better words, ass offense? No, I don't see it. I don't see a letdown on that side of the ball. I think this defense is going to be hungry. Yeah, I love what you're saying. Like, the goals need to be like steal their soul, like Shang Tsung. Like, this needs to be like just absolute evisceration. I want you to blitz all night.
It's very much like that. Like, when's the last time Michigan had a shutout?
I'm sure we could come up with this. Did we shut out Northwestern in that 55 pointer?
I think it was 50-6.
No, I think they scored in that.
UConn 22, maybe.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if someone wants to do that for us. Post it in the chat. I don't know it off the top of my head.
I think it was UConn 22. I think that was it.
I can tell you, I'm hungry for a shutout. I certainly wouldn't mind it. And this Maryland defense, which I don't think is very good, really gave them fits. So, I mean, coming off of that game, Michigan certainly should be thinking that. Michael says Iowa.
Oh, great call. Big Ten championship, 26-0.
Oh, yeah, championship game. Nice. Great call. Great call, Michael. Yeah. Anything else on the Wisconsin offense?
I will say, and we'll say this again on the defense, this is a kitchen sink game from Luke Fickell in Wisconsin. So expect some
Mhm.
wacky stuff. They're not holding anything back now because if he's coaching his job week to week, they're going to run trick plays. They're going to run trick plays off of trick plays. They're going to do everything they can to avoid that shutout.
Do you think he is coaching for his job this week, or does he have to lose by a certain amount this week for him to lose his job
I think he's coaching for his job every week because if he gets blown
every
out,
week?
they lose 42 to nothing on Saturday, I think he goes back to Wisconsin and packs his bags.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, I think he would too. I think he would kind of know the writing is on the wall. But if it doesn't happen this week, it's Oregon and Ohio State, or Ohio State then Oregon next. Like it's likely going to happen within the next 3 weeks. I mean, I don't know if FanDuel's accepting odds on that, but I would bet Fickle's the next to go. And then if that job opens up, I would say that's the best job open. I would take Wisconsin over Arkansas.
Brett Bielema sure didn't.
He certainly didn't.
He
Wonder if
left
he
for
regrets that.
Arkansas.
Then he came
It's
right back to the Big Ten.
ended up coming right back. I think so too. I think I would prefer Wisconsin over Arkansas, but both are
I would
definitely
take
good
it.
jobs. I mean, having a Big Ten and SEC job open at the same time.
This early in the season too, there's
Yeah.
going to be more that open up. So,
Yep.
I mean, you and I love watching the coaching carousel. I'm a big fan of it, just seeing who you get and who the hot names are. Titurian in the comments mentions it is a crazy buyout. Feel like Wisconsin would eat that if need be. I mean,
They'll find
Wisconsin's
it.
got the resources. This is a proud program, and they also have like a really good basketball team too. Like they've got a just top to bottom pretty good athletic department. So I think they would find it if need be. Let's go over to the Wisconsin defense and how they will try and slow down this Michigan offense. This is the number 89 pass defense. They've allowed 7 touchdowns through 4 games, around 250 through the air each game out there, but it is the number 1 rush defense. Only 50 yards per game and 2 rushing touchdowns
That's
on the
crazy.
season. We're going to get into some of that context there, which is needed when you look at that. There's not really a player on the defense that I look at that I'm like super interested in. Maybe you've got somebody that you'd
I
like to
got one.
highlight. Okay, but they're tied for 93rd in red zone defense, which is something that I wanted to bring up. Like the defense looks good on paper, but they're allowing teams to get into the red zone and score. So I think it's a little bit of, like I said, a house of cards, paper tiger, whatever analogy you want to use there, where early season stats are indicating that they're better than they are.
Yeah, they're allowing 19 points per game, but against Power 4, 33 points per game. The weird stat I found going through this, to your point, they're a bottom 10 red zone defense, but they're a top 10 third down defense. It's so bizarre. I honestly think that plays into the run though, and setting up a lot of third and longs, so that kind of plays into their hand. A very interesting schedule for the way this is played out for the Michigan offense. Last week they played the number 1 pass defense in the country in Nebraska, and now facing the number 1 rush defense. But strengthening that, or really propping up that number 1 rush defense, is the number 96 rush offense of Miami of Ohio, number 133 from Middle Tennessee State, number
Alabama's not even
108
good running the ball.
number 108 Alabama, number
Wow.
122 Maryland. So are those teams bad and that's why the number's good, or are those numbers bad because they played Wisconsin?
Side
Chicken or
note
egg?
here is Alabama the title favorite if they keep Justice Haynes?
So you asked me this offline and it just floored me. I think so.
They
Like
probably are. It's like all
they
they're
just
missing.
got they just got Jam Miller back. And you can see his impact in the Georgia game. If they had Justice Haynes from day one, what that does to their offense, I think they would be. And I think that's really what they're missing in this DeBoer offense, because like you even think back to his team with Washington, they had that stud running back on that Washington team, went over 1,000 yards, just got banged up late in the year. So if he had Justice Haynes to help open things up for those receivers, could do some really nice things.
Yeah.
Glad he's ours.
Exactly. Glad we don't have to deal with hypotheticals here. But yeah, on defense, their linebacker Christian Allegro and Tackett Curtis, those guys are pretty solid. I like their linebacker core, and then Ricardo Hillman's kind of the only other guy that I even really have paid much
Hallman, yeah,
attention to
I love
outside
Ricardo
of the
Hallman. He
name.
led the country in picks 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's the only other guy that I even really recognize on this defense. And yeah, you're totally right. Like a lot of those numbers are propped up. That number 1 rush defense, that's about to go out the window, because I do think Michigan's going to be able to run the ball. Someone in the comments whose name I can't say because I'm pretty sure the furniture will start floating off the ground if I attempt it. Says like the main storyline is how we attack their stout rush defense, run into it, air it out a bit more. I definitely agree with you. I'm fascinated to see what Chip Lindsey does and how he wants to attack this team. And if maybe it's a little bit more pass to set up the run, I could certainly see that. And knowing Chip Lindsey, not well, but I'm starting to understand Chip Lindsey. I could see something like that. Pass it early to set up the run, but don't think Michigan's going to abandon the run because they saw number one rush defense and they're like, oh no, Wisconsin. No, we are going to run the ball.
I don't think the game plan is really going to alter that much. You might see a couple more screens just to get those. They have good linebackers to get those guys out of the box, get them running, get those defensive tackles running it a bit more sideline to sideline, just to tire them out, weaken the front a little bit. I think you're going to see some heavy play action, try to get them playing downhill, take some shots. Michigan took 8 shots, or at least set up 8 shots. Some of those plays broke down against Central Michigan. I think you're really going to see some deep balls in this one.
I could see it as well, and maybe early on too. And if they're
Yeah.
connecting on those early on, it's going to be a long day for
Kendrick
Wisconsin.
Bell, baby.
I
Chips in the table. It's my guy.
Oh, dude, absolutely, man. So I could see it. I think that once again, Bryce Underwood's legs will be a factor, particularly if like the outside zone isn't hitting early on and they're actually pursuing side to side with those pretty solid linebackers. Maybe they're like, all right, we got to open it up with Bryce Underwood's legs. You could see something like that. But I'm fascinated to see what Chip Lindsey and company come up with for this one and how they view this and if they actually have a lot of respect for this rush defense or if they think it's a paper tiger and they're like straight into the teeth of it, which I still think we could probably do at 4 yards a clip. I really
Yeah,
do.
I think the difference between old school Michigan, old school being 2 years ago, is we would just be running the same stuff. Like now with the outside
Right.
zone and the swings and the screens, which are more or less run plays or run
Yeah.
control plays essentially, like they'll do that to help set it up and it'll make it easier. So you're not just running duo, duo, counter, counter, duo, duo again and again.
Yeah.
It gives you a little more variance to the offense. But the thing I love about the number 1 rated rush defense is this is how you motivate the team and avoid a trap game. That's what you keep telling them. Number 1 rush defense, number 1 rush defense. They're going to shut you down and you come out here with something to prove.
Yeah. I often think of like when you go into a game and it's early season and you're trying to figure out where these teams are. If both teams just lined up and ran power or duo for the entire game, who would win that? And I think Michigan would win handedly.
Handedly.
If like there was nothing else that in you're only allowed to use one play in your playbook, I think Michigan wins by 24.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see what they do in terms of 6 offensive linemen. We saw that a few weeks ago. We didn't see it against Nebraska. See how they mix in some of that stuff, the unbalanced tackle over offensive line formations, or maybe it's just super vanilla. You know, why show other things that you haven't done? You can get away with it.
Yeah.
You have USC in 2 weeks traveling out there the following week. So it's like, yeah, use them right now. Let's get the job done in the first half and like put the women and children to bed and we'll be all right.
They might be able to do it early. It's going to be hot, 88 degrees.
God.
Like literally cramping is going to be an issue. It's like we're playing in freaking Gainesville. That's bizarre for this deep into the season to be dealing with heat as an actual factor in this game. So we'll see how they deal with that and keeping these guys hydrated and stuff. But yeah, I think our offense will be able to have success. And this is the side of the ball where if maybe you have some questions and you're thinking maybe a trap game's possible, it would be, does Wisconsin's defense just make this a 17-10 game where Michigan has to sweat it out late?
Yeah.
Like I've said, and it sounds like you're with me, I don't see it that way. And we're going to get to predictions and players of the game here in a minute. But anything else on that side of the ball? We can touch special teams a little bit too.
Yeah, we'll talk about special teams. Michael asked if Hanson and Gio were playing. I think both are expected to play. I think both are kind of like, it's insulting to say a tune-up game for USC, but it's more like a reacclimation game to get ready for a big-time opponent.
Shouldn't be that way with Wisconsin. Like I'm not.
No.
They're better than that. It shouldn't be that way, which is why Titirian, I think, said like he expects him to roll with them for one more year with Luke Fickell. I see why you're saying that now, but if they drop 5 straight, which is very much on the table with that loss to Maryland, I don't think that their fans are going to have that kind of appetite. They're already chanting "Fire Fickell" at home.
If Wisconsin goes 2-10 this season, they say they just
have to get rid of them. That's too bad at Wisconsin. That's too bad.
That would be so in 1980 or 1990 in Barry Alvarez's first season, they were 1-10. and that's the last time they have lost more than 7 games in a season. Just more than 7 games.
Yeah,
And they
it's
could
pretty
lose 10 this year.
unprecedented. Yeah.
Like,
And it's not like he has a good season to hang his hat on. There's been nothing but mediocrity up to this point. And
yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
like you'll
come
lose
on,
so
man.
much money
He
by
was
bringing him
7 and
back next
6.
year.
He was 7 and 6 in his
Hey,
first year, lost in the Reliant
that was
Quest
enough to
Bowl.
get Shador Sanders' jersey retired in Colorado, but
Hey.
low bar. Low bar. You want to talk special teams?
Yeah, so a couple things I noticed. Vinny Anthony II for Wisconsin is probably their most dynamic player all around, averaging 34 yards per kick return. So my advice, do not kick to him. Just don't do it.
So
I'm
we
sure
definitely
Michigan,
will.
well, I know they will. They won't be able to resist. So don't kick to him. Wisconsin did block a punt against Middle Tennessee State, but against Maryland last week, Wisconsin had
There
a
you go.
kick and a punt blocked.
And a punt.
Like,
Yeah.
that's so when I was talking with the Wisconsin guys, I was like, hey, both of our special teams suck, but at least we have Dom Zavada. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, they don't have Dom Zavada. It's just ass. Well, I mean, they have the returner. So I mean,
But
I guess it
34
evens
yards of
out.
kick
But
returns, not Zavada. Yeah.
yeah, but I'd rather have Zavada for sure. Like, give me Zavada and Michigan's. I mean, it was just one game, but special teams maybe slightly trending up, ever so
Little
slightly.
momentum. Little
Yeah,
momentum. We're not anything right now is a win for the special teams. Like, it's
we'll
just
take
like
it.
a little bit here. We'll take that.
Yeah, could be Anthony Simpson out there returning kicks too. Be interested to see who they trot out there because as he's kind of back into the fold a little bit more,
Yeah.
we'll see if they still use Andy Marsh. I think maybe that experiment. There's no need to push that as we're into Big Ten play. If Anthony Simpson's good to go, or if there's somebody else back, Mike Capana, somebody.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see there who they trot out. So yeah, we may have a small special teams advantage in this one, which we won't be able to say many weeks.
No, we're not going to be able to say that a lot, but I am fascinated to see some of those little personnel changes from the bye week. Obviously, Fred Moore is no longer with the program, so there's one of them, but just see who's taken over because, like, remember the last time Michigan had a bye week was before the Northwestern game, and we saw a completely revamped team and a lot of things were ironed out. So I want to see if that's like taken care of, especially on special teams like at returner. Like, just having a kick return in this would be so nice.
Oh my God. Just especially with us in attendance, which we've come
on.
close to seeing some before. We have
We
seen
saw
some
no,
before.
we saw DPJ because he did that
And,
the most unnecessary spin move against Nebraska.
yeah, against Nebraska. And I was there for BYU, that absolute beatdown during the streak. I want to say somebody returned one in that one. I think so. You remember the game.
Yeah, I remember the game. I remember
During
the
the
Davion
shutout
Smith.
streak.
I remember the Davion. That was the Davion Smith run. Was that? It was that year. That was
Yeah.
that
And then
year.
we saw the Jabril Peppers almost against CU.
Yeah, I thought I thought he got one finally. I know he fell once. I think he got one
I wasn't
later.
at it, but yeah.
Yeah, he fell once at the one, and then he got another one in. He almost had 2 in that game. You saw one. You were at the UConn game, weren't you, in 22? When AJ Henninghouse that punt?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I know what it was. It was the game, and it was during the streak. They housed the opening kickoff, like
Northwestern.
And it was as
J.U. Chesson.
Northwestern. There it is. Yeah. And I like hadn't even gotten to my seat yet.
Yeah, Chesson
That's
housed
the
it, and
one
then
I
he
was
dabbed
thinking
in the
of.
end zone. I was like, oh, we are so back.
Yeah, that'll tell you what time we were in. The dab was
I know.
was living
Dab was
high.
around.
The dab was around. I like it. The prediction that we have a punter kickoff return on Saturday. I don't quite have that level of confidence in our special teams yet, but I like that you do.
I like speaking into existence. I love that.
Let's speak it into existence. I mean, I would certainly be very pleased. Shall we get into predictions and players of the game, sir?
Let's do it. You want to go first or second this week?
I think I went first last week, so please help yourself.
Okay, so overall keys to the game. Before I get offense or defense, this is just like an overall key to the game. Michigan is 8th in turnover margin, +5 on the year, and Wisconsin is 114th at -3. Michigan should look to exploit this advantage and aim to win this battle 3-0, and this key aspect can be the difference between a shutout or a Wisconsin cover, to be honest. So I think that's one thing to focus on. On the offensive side of the ball, let's keep it very simple. No drop passes. I want to see improvement from the bye week. They call it improvement week for a reason. I'd like to see Kendrick Bell get more involved, especially as a downfield target. Number 2, win the first quarter by double digits. Force Wisconsin to play from behind. Their offense is not designed to score quickly.
Good one.
So don't mess around. Very similar to Central Michigan. Just put it away early and don't worry about it. And number three, we talked about it a little bit already. Get their linebackers running on every play, swings, screens, anything. This will make them vulnerable in the run game, quicker to tire down, and quicker to get Michigan's rushing attack going.
I like a lot of that. Yeah. I like the idea of making them play from behind, particularly since we don't expect Billy Edwards to be able to go in this one. Them having to throw the ball is going to lead to an interception. The ferryman will have his due in this game more than once, I think. I love that you're saying three turnovers in this one. It's very much on the table with their history up to this point. Things that I would like to see, I want to see us run the ball against this team. I want to see us run the ball inside and outside against
Send a
Wisconsin
message.
because send a message, show that we can do it, build that confidence in your interior offensive line with Crippen and Guarnara and El Hadi back there, and show other teams that, like, no, it's not just the outside zone, it's not just Bryce Underwood. Like, the Michigan of old is back. They can just pound it down your throat. Avoid the turnovers as well. Get Bryce Underwood into a rhythm with somebody. I was leaning Marlon Klein early on, starting to get there with McCulley. I don't really care who it is. I just want to see that rhythm where it's like a familiarity with that target, and want to keep building that up for later in the season. As you mentioned, this is a tune-up game for USC, more or less. All due respect to Wisconsin, but that's just where we're at currently in 2025. So a little bit of a look ahead there. Don't get caught looking ahead, which I do not think this team will do. That's why it's not part of my keys to the game. I think coming out of the bye, they'll be very focused on Wisconsin. And then, on defense, turn the ball over, unleash this pass rush, still figure out what you've got with some of these younger guys. Could you experiment a little bit? A little like Zeke Berry goes to nickel and Jaden Sanders is out there at the other boundary? Or, I mean, I'm just throwing examples out there, throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. But against USC and Washington, that's probably not the time to be experimenting. So kind of the last week to see what you have with some other guys, and see what kind of combinations you can go with out there.
I like those. To continue on for defense, for me, eliminate the quarterback run. This shouldn't be a tall task against Danny O'Neal while he is mobile, but this is a huge focus before playing USC and Washington. Both the quarterbacks
Yes.
that can get out there and run, especially in those gap schemes, those have caused Michigan issues, even against teams like Central Michigan. So I'd like to see those be cleaned up in this one. Also, clean up the scramble drills. We saw that against Dylan Raiola. That's where they had the big chunk plays, was not on schedule, but when he's like rolls out and the secondary kind of falls asleep a little bit, get caught quarterback watching, they make a big play. On top of that, finish plays. For the love of God, let's just have one game where we don't miss one sack. Just don't miss a sack. If you're getting in the backfield, wrap up, finish the play. It goes double for Jaden Mangum. Anybody blitzing off the edge. Last one, get off the field. Just get off the field. This team wants to dominate time of possession. Help keep everybody fresh on it. Just don't let them hang around. Don't be cute with it. Get off the field on the crucial downs. And my last one is, I talked about this as a kitchen sink game for Fickle. Discipline. No trick plays. None of that. Be locked in. Focused. Time on task. Get out of there.
Yeah, well said. I kind of already went into some of mine. I will just add no mercy. Absolutely no mercy. Like, you should want the shutout. We are capable of a shutout. And if they score, I want it to be late in the game when this thing's so far out of hand that we've got Thomas O'Meara minutes, but he's playing safety because we're so deep into this thing. So, yeah, just no mercy, and unleash hell, but don't show too much because you don't need to show too much on defense. And that's not something I worry about as much with the defense in Wink Martindale, because like you
Yeah.
can show them a million exotic, like it's not going to matter come game day what we've shown before. Like, you're never going to remember all that stuff when the bullets are live. So I'm not worried about like keeping stuff for USC and Washington on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, let it all hang out. All right, brother. Predictions, players of the game.
All right, predictions here. Just make a statement. Wisconsin's defense has only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns and 5 rushing plays all season to go for 10 or more yards, and 0 have gone for over 20. I'd like to see Michigan double each of those numbers in this one. I think they'll show a little bit of rust early, but still plays ahead for the entirety of the game. I think Wink empties the bench early, and Fickle saves face by avoiding the shutout. I want to lean Michigan like just like 45-0. I want to do that, but understand how it is. And this team still has some self-inflicted things to clean up. And I think Fickle will score late. Give me Michigan 38-10. Players of the game. I'm going to ride with it still. I've been trying to speak it out there. I hope he makes a play in this one. Maybe it's because of his brother and the family relation, but give me Kendrick Bell on offense, and give me either, you can have the other one if you want, Jair Hill or Jay Sean Barham on defense.
I'm with you there. I've chosen Barham too many times just because he's been far and away the best player in the Michigan defense. I will not
So
do that
good.
again this time. Predictions, I do not think Michigan comes out with too much rust. If it is, it's early. And Wisconsin maybe gets an early score or maybe gets a late score. But for the bulk of the game, the bulk of the series, I anticipate Michigan dominance there. And a little side question here. What's the bet for this game? Michigan favored by 16 and a half and over under 43 and a half. What would you bet if you were betting on this?
I'm clearly betting the over. I just don't see any way that Michigan doesn't win by at least 20. I
The
just
cover. The cover, not
Yeah.
the
Oh,
over.
yeah, I'm betting the cover. I
Okay.
mean, even the Maryland game is deceptive. Maryland was up 27-3 until the final 2 minutes, and Wisconsin got one in late to make it 27-10. Like,
Yeah,
and that was
I'm
at
with you.
home. So, like, Michigan, come on now.
Yeah, the ultimate bet would be they get the ball first and go down and score a field goal or a touchdown. Then you bet Michigan to cover because you'll get a
Oh,
little bit better. And then, like, that'll be the only time they score because then Link Martindale will be like, enough of this shit. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm betting the cover. Over, I'd stay away from because I think Wisconsin's going to have trouble contributing to this
yeah,
overall if they had trouble contributing against Maryland. So, I'm with you there. Player of the game for me on offense. Really like a lot of what you said. I've gone Justice Haynes a lot. Jordan Marshall could be a big factor in this game because Haynes could score early and be up over 100 by the half. So then it's Jordan Marshall for a lot of the second half there. Could see something like that. Give me Marlon Klein though. I want to see Marlon
good one.
Klein, like a guy that after that first week, I was like, man, he's got this in the bag and was still coming back from injury a little bit. He's had another week to get back there. I would like to see that rapport between him and Underwood there. I also love what he does week in and week out blocking. So I'm going to go Marlon Klein, who I maybe have picked once before already this season, but I'm going to grab him again there. And then on defense, give me Cole Sullivan. I think he's been the second best player and just emerging week in and week out. I think he's going to play a lot of snaps in this one. I think you're going to see impact plays. He turns the ball over, seems to have a knack for it. So could be
2 picks.
responsible for one of the, yeah, exactly. Could be responsible for another one as we seem to think there'll be some turnovers on the table for this one. I see it similar to you. I'm going to go 31-6 in this one. I could easily see Michigan scoring more against this defense. I like that you went up to 38. Very reasonable. Like I also wanted to go into the 40s. I was playing around with a 42-3 and some stuff like that. And I was like, all right, I want to see it one more week against, I don't even know if we can call this a quality opponent. At least they're a power four opponent. I want to see one more week of Michigan showing and honestly, like the S&P and at large, they're not buying Michigan. Like they're still Michigan's hanging around 22-20. No one eager to move Michigan anywhere. Despite some other teams losing ahead of them, they're like, no, like Michigan is where I'd like to see Michigan show that they belong and see the S&P start to take notice. And I think a big win over Wisconsin here will start to get them to take notice. So give me 31-6. Those are my players of the game. We will be there. Can't freaking wait, brother. Like, we will be loud. We will be doing our parts. We got some great seats. We are, for those of you just joining us, we are tailgating at Pioneer. You can reach out to us on Twitter or Instagram to find us, and we will happily come share some libations with you. It would be our
Yeah.
sincere pleasure.
Yeah. Come hang out. Come get after it. We're having a good time. And I'm excited, man. First game in a couple years for us. I mean, not going to have the same excitement as the
Ohio
Ohio State
State,
game two
our
years
last
ago.
one, but
But no, man, really excited to be in attendance and hope we can put this one to bed early and just have a good time.
yeah, Kicking thinks it's going to be a good game. Well, agree to disagree. Um, I mean, they didn't play a very good game against Maryland, and Michigan is far better than Maryland, and it's
No,
at
it could
home.
be.
So,
Yeah. It's a,
hey,
it
look,
could be. Maybe get some
it's like
rust
your
out.
opinion, man.
It could be. But yeah, man, can't wait for this one. At large, what do you think about a couple games here? Florida State, Miami.
Fascinating. That's the game of the week there. I will be locked in. I'm going to go Florida State because I want to go with some of my preconceived notions from the beginning of the season, and that is that Miami will find a way to disappoint you. But that Miami defense is real, man. Ruben Baines is a stud, and Beck looks like he's found a home there, playing good ball. Conventional wisdom would say Miami. I'm going Florida State. Go blue
I
kicking.
think,
I'm just messing with you,
yeah,
brother.
I think Florida State has to win this one. You can't suffer a second
Yeah.
conference loss. Like you can't, because Georgia Tech's got a cupcake schedule the rest of the way out. I think they can do some things. Michael, I agree. I think New Mexico would beat Wisconsin. New Mexico 3-1 right
Possible.
now.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for them.
And
Vanderbilt,
that coach
Alabama.
maybe being somebody people look for.
Jason Eck knows what he's
Heck,
doing, man. He can
yeah.
turn things around. Vanderbilt, Alabama.
I'm going to go Bama. I think Bama's really starting to show something here. I think it'll be a fun game, and very interested to see how that Bama offensive line holds up. That's like the last question I have is like, is it as good as people were forecasting? That Caden Proctor 11-yard catch and run, it might be my favorite player of the season. It might be it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I like a lot of the players. Let's see how that unit performs week in and week out. And if that offensive line starts to gel, watch out for Bama now.
I just want to see Bama put it together for a full game. It was like they didn't show up till late in the game against Florida State. Against Georgia, it was really the first half, and they kind of hung on to it. I like Bama as well here. I want to see him put it together. Now, a game that fascinates me. Oh, look at Kellen coming in, bet with those Tigers winnings. Hell yeah. Perfect timing as well. Florida, Texas in the swamp. Arch's second true road game.
I got Texas because Lagway absolutely cannot be relied upon right now. The Napier coaching for his job, maybe. I've heard some whisperings that maybe, yeah.
That Miami game was one possession in the third quarter at Miami. Like, and now having Arch there, who's not that team, and we'll see some things. I mean, Texas, I do think is clearly the better team, but like, are we completely just writing Lagway off too early? Like, we've seen the flashes.
I mean, that 5 interception game horrified me. That really scared me off. But Arch against that defense doesn't inspire me either. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I think it's going to be an ugly game.
I think so too. I think it's like 1st to 17 wins this thing. And it's like
I'm pulling for Florida, like openly pulling for Florida in that one, though. I'm with you there. Like, I think that'd be fun. That'd be a good story for college football.
And we've seen Napier turn it around. We saw it last season.
Yep.
Like, so he could get them up, does a good job. If they have Banks healthy in the interior, I think that can change things. I think they were down their 3 starting defensive tackles against Miami. Like, still hung in there and did a good job. Like, I don't think Florida will win, but I would certainly, I mean, I believe the spread on Kellen and Vaughn's Pick'em podcast, tremendous podcast, same feed. Kellen took him at +6.5. I like that. I like him to make this game ugly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it could easily be 17-13, 17-14, and it's just a defensive slaughterhouse. Yeah. What else you got? Hit me.
Yeah, Kellen said bet the under. Just tremendous advice.
That's the bet for that one.
Last, I'm doing this off the top of my head, is Minnesota, Ohio State at night. Any chance of just a letdown for Ohio State?
Maybe not like a letdown in the sense that they lose, but a letdown in that it looks a little bit closer. I could see something like that. They got to fight it out. And it's like, oh man, 24-17. What was the deal with that?
Yeah.
I could see something like that.
Something wacky. Definitely Ohio State's too talented to let them hang around. They're too much. Yeah, Kellen says a win save Billy Napier's job. I think so. I think if Napier, like I don't know. If he could just find a way to win early, like you feel like he has to coach under stress at all times. I feel bad for him, his family. Interesting game. Michigan State going to Nebraska.
Fascinating one. Yeah, I watched Michigan State versus USC, and I was like trying to figure out who either of these teams were. And then USC's defense, again, it looked a little suspect there. That one I might take the over on. And when you're talking about a potential shootout, who knows? Yeah, that's a fascinating one. You said it was at Nebraska?
It's at Nebraska, so Michigan State going there. And then in similar vein, Michael writes in the chat, Washington at Maryland.
Maryland is interesting.
Very interesting game.
Very fun quarterback matchup in that one.
Yeah.
Kind of like that one as well. I had a couple Big Ten ones for you. Is Penn State out of the national title picture?
No, not with their schedule. I mean, they still have Ohio State, still have Indiana coming up. They can still suffer another loss. And because of where they were in the preseason, they're going to get a lot of chances, a lot of bites at the apple here. People will keep talking themselves into Penn State.
They could. I can't believe how much leeway they get. They might still make the playoffs. I am out on Penn State as a national title contender. I think Missouri's a better team than Penn State. I really do.
Are we being too harsh though? It was a double overtime loss.
But they were outplayed the majority of that game.
They were.
The majority of that game. And like all the Drew Aller things are still the Drew Aller things. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
different. It's the same cast of characters, except they're worse at running the ball. And there's no Abdul Carter. Like
If you asked
why
you
is
asked
this team
me
better?
you asked me earlier about if Justice Haynes was on Alabama, would they be the national title favorite? If Bo Prabula was at Penn State, would they be the national title favorite?
I don't know about favorite, but I'd like them a lot more. I think
I
Ohio
think they
State's
they,
going to
they beat
like
Oregon.
wax them again.
They
They
beat
could.
Oregon. Like
Yeah, they
if
would
Drew
beat
Aller can
Oregon with
take it a
Pagula. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, if they take Oregon to double overtime with Drew Aller at the helm on offense compared to what Prabula could do in Andy Kotelnicki's system, like I think they would take him.
Yeah. Does UCLA win a game this year?
Tremendous question. I was looking at this earlier this week too. I don't know if they do, man. Like it
I don't think they do.
I don't see the path.
Yeah. For reference, their schedule: Penn State this week, at Michigan State, Maryland, at Indiana, Nebraska, at Ohio State, Washington, at USC. Huh.
That's
That's I don't even know what the best chance is. Michigan
does,
State?
does Nico Iamaliava get drafted?
No, not at this point. I mean, although I don't know, Drew Aller, they're still saying like first rounder Drew Aller, and I'm just like, are you watching the games that I'm watching? Never seen someone get coddled so much.
Oh, I know. And now it's the coordinator's fault too, which is hilarious. Hey, look, Tony's here. Glad to have you
Tony's
back,
here.
Tony.
Restart from the top. All right, welcome to Out of the Blue.
But yeah, I mean, the slate's not as good as last week, which I really don't mind at all because we're going to be in attendance and obviously unable to multi-watch this week, so it'll be nice.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to catch the afternoon games. I mean, maybe we can hit to a bar for lunch and,
Yeah,
and
wherever
catch
we
a
eat,
little
yeah.
something, but but that'll be about it. And then certainly missing the evening games. So yeah, but then after this, I don't think I'll be in attendance for any more games. Who knows? Things can come up and change. This should be my one for the season. I generally try and get one in person per season.
Yeah, same. At least one or two. I think this year's going to be one. Just got some other life things going on right now.
Naturally,
Things they do.
obviously there's things afoot. Anything else from you, brother? Anything at large in college football, Big Ten, otherwise?
Heisman favorite right now.
Dante Moore.
I
For
agree.
you?
I hate that. Yeah, same. I mean, it would be Mateer if you were healthy, but I think it's
Yeah, it's a bummer.
but yeah, but I think it's Dante Moore as well. I
Yeah.
do have a sneaky feeling though that he's back for Red River next week. Like he feels like that type of quarterback where it's like, you know, he had the bye week to rest. He's going to be out this week. They have a pushover MAC opponent and then come back for Red River. He just feels like that type of like old cowboy gunslinger quarterback to do that.
Yeah, and honestly, like from Michigan's perspective, we want Oklahoma performing well and Mateer in
Yeah.
there and looking like that's a very quality loss, which is a term that I despise,
I
but
hate that.
it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Tony, we will be adjusting our britches for the entire time. I imagine the camera will find us like, look at these britches. Those boys are certainly adjusting them.
That's why we show up.
That's why we show up. Adjust them britches, boys. We will be back on Monday breaking down what should be a lovely win. We will be live next Thursday. I will not be going live for Bleacher Report after this game, obviously, as I will be in attendance. But Michael Smeltzer will be going live on Bleacher Report. Encourage you to go check that out. Encourage you to go check out the writings of one Andy Bailey on MaizenBrew.com. What an amazing website. You can also find the Pick 'em Pod with Kellen and Vaughn on there. Appreciate all of you in the chat for participating. Y'all are some real ones. Remember, 2 tickets to the Sklar Brothers show, 7:30 in Ann Arbor. You'll actually be sitting with us too. So you want to come hang out with the boys, email us at ootbsports23@gmail.com. Reach out via Twitter or Instagram. First come, first serve for those. So you'll be hanging out with us, and we'll have to figure out how to get you those tickets. I am Jared. That is Andy. This is Out of the Blue. We'd like to remind you that wherever you go, go blue.